Thank you, everyone, for one, being patient in general right now, as we are here at Potsquatch Growers in transition. However, I want to do a big thank you to the tolerance of we didn't do Sunday's show. There was a reason for that, and I'm going to tell you all what happened there. So, long story short, Uncle Potsquatch had the joy of making a new friend. Another Michael. We have many Michaels in our community, and we've met another Michael that we've added to the quote unquote ranks of our community. He comes from Scotland. He's a man who hails from the Highlands. And he's actually currently right now walking across Canada. That's right. And for those of you at home not from Canada, Canada's pretty big, actually. It's quite a large country. Oh, sorry, I'll turn that off there. There we go. Just doing this just in case we have any of our fun, wonderful little trolley friends show up again today, then I can deal with it here on this secondary phone. But yeah, so long story short, our new friend Michael comes from Scotland, walking across Canada right now, raising money to reforest Scotland. Different type of trees, the type of trees that our community typically works with. However, we're in support of saving the trees. What's up, DJ Drew 24B? What's happening? What's up, Jed Gaff? Good to see you. What's up, Romans? Hello, hello. High Goals 420. Good to see you, my friend. Welcome to the show. All right. So, yeah, our new friend Michael, though, comes from Scotland. And it was actually pretty funny because, about 4 or 5 days ago, I read an article about this guy. And it was just like I had the sheer tenacity of it. A guy who's willing to try to walk across Canada in a kilt with his dog in his cart to raise money to save the trees. And so for me, it was pretty cool. So anyway, I was driving just the other day. Right now, that link that you're actually seeing that Nicole's sharing is actually the link for donations for our new friend Michael's mission that he's on. So I'm driving along the highway there, heading into town to go grocery shopping and go for breakfast. And I look over and I go, holy shit, that's the guy from the article. It's the guy from the article. And so I start screaming. The wife's like, yes, it's a Scottish person. He's wearing a kilt. I said, no, it's the dude from the article. So anyway, on the way back to town, or from town to my house, I actively went to find this guy. And I ended up finding him along the highway. And long story short, I went and found him, and I was like, bro, yo, you want to come for dinner and have some beers at my house? And so anyway, long story short, we spent Saturday night showing the Scottish modern-day rogue who's currently walking across Canada, a bit of Canadian hospitality. And, well, Uncle Potsquatch was up till about 3:30 in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, drinking. And so, long story short, Sunday, got him back on the road, went and got him some lunch, packed him a lunch and shit. And Uncle Potsquatch was a little tired, let's be fair, on the Sunday. I have been feeling a little bit under the weather today, but not too bad, though. So I eventually felt bad because, one, I know sometimes people get worried when we don't do shows and they're all like, oh, man, what's wrong with Potsquatch? So I wanted to come on and do a little show for everybody. I'm not dead. I'm still here. And everything is A-okay. Oh, I'm not too bad. I'll be fine by tomorrow. I'm assuming. It happens once in a while. Puppies! Sorry, everybody. We're doing it in the main part of the group here. Okay, so let's backtrack and say hi to people. Puppies! I hate the dogs. At the new lab, everyone. They won't be around. I'll be locked in the basement of the house so they won't interrupt our shows. 1 second here, everybody. Shut up, you silly little puppies. Okay? Stop. Okay? Shush. Go lie down. All right. So anyway, long story short, at the new lab, that won't be happening. But let's backtrack here a bit and quickly say hi to everybody that we've missed saying hi to. All right. So, where did we leave off on saying hi to people? All right. Welcome to the show, LST, UK Big Bud, Alex Squatch, welcome to the show. All right. Nicole Lenman, welcome to the show. Typhoid, welcome to the show. Jeremiah Sanchez, welcome to the show. Chef Life 420, welcome to the show. No, I'm cool, DJ Drew 24V. Don't you worry, baby. Byron Hayes, welcome to the show. Squatch Father, I like it. What's happening, Mike Sparks? Good to see you, my friend. Riot Powder, welcome to the show. All right, Romans, welcome to the show. I think I may have said that already. Welcome to the show, Jersey Born Roman Genetics. All right. How long have I been on? 5 minutes. You have not missed much, Alex Squatch. We're just getting the show started. What's happening, Texas Squatch? Good to see you, my friend. For those of you who are new here, the link that Nicole is sharing there is where you're going to go find your very own Potsquatch lighting systems. That's right, brought to you by SoulStrip. We're two little companies working together for you. We're growers building lights for growers. And we're pretty much the only company, to my knowledge, actually, that designs consciously their lights to not only be fixed, but upgraded. We're actually here to work with you. And if you're talking about the fundraiser, Alex Squatch, that we did way back when, oh, you mean the Mrs. Potsquatch's charity event that she did. So Alex Squatch, that is an ongoing charity event that is always raising money. They do events here and there. COVID has made it very hard for them. They normally do live events and performance pieces to raise money for that. To my knowledge, they're roughly $200-something thousand away from reaching their goal to build the rehabilitation center over in Sierra Leone. So that is always an ongoing thing. The name of the foundation that's doing that one is called the Innocence Lost Foundation. And this new facility they're building there will be raising money not only to help children become rehabilitated from child soldier realities, it also brings modern medical stuff to the community. This will be actually built in the hometown where our friend Fascinet, who started the Innocence Lost Foundation, who he himself is a child soldier who survived and then moved on to become a filmmaker and actor, basically is from. So that's all still always going on. So long story short, if you contact the Innocence Lost Foundation, they're always happy to accept donations. This year for them has definitely been a harder year in terms of trying to do that. So, if you ever think of them, feel free to check it out. Right, Taser Ray? I agree. Kilts are cool. Sadly, because I'm a Celtic mudblood, I've got like 30 bajillion tartans in my blood background. All right. So, for those of you who are just seeing that Discord server, that is actually the new, it's new, it's open, you can use it. I'm not always great at seeing it, but we've built a Discord server for those of you who aren't on Facebook as well to come and be part of the community. So anyone, again, is welcome there as long as you treat people with respect. And know that we will boot you if you're being a dick. So just, be human and we'll be good to go. What's happening, I Spy Retro? Good to see you, my friend. All right. What's up, Cody R? Fucking eBay. Rock and roll. What's happening, Malcolm Smith? Good to see you, buddy. All right, DJ Drew 24B. May I ask where Adam has been? Haven't seen him in a while. You may ask. I'm a little bit worried about our friend Adam. The problem with that is Adam's still okay. We chat occasionally. However, sadly, at the end of the day, he moved to where he lives with a partner he's no longer with because, let's be fair, she proved to not be a nice partner. So he's kind of stuck in a small town, has a 5-year mortgage he can't sell for another 2 or 3 years in the middle of nowhere by himself. So everyone, I am worried about Adam Squatch too. I do my best to try to engage with him. I think he's playing video games a lot. He's pretty lonely over where he lives in Saskatchewan. I've been trying to reach out to him and kind of get him back and active. Maybe one of these days I might just have to see if I could put a few pennies together and send him a ticket to send him out here again, and maybe we can get Adam back up and running. But yes, I am also worried about the little Adam Squatch, But I hope he's all right. And Adam Squatch, if you're watching at home, we thinking of you, baby. We hope you're all right. All right. Yeah, Discord, right? It's cool. It's a thing. I'm learning many new things about computers. What's happening? Show me, Sasquatch. Good to see you. Don't tell anyone I'm here, okay? Shh. All right. But, yeah, so, we got the Discord server up and running. Some of the exciting things that are happening is I've been learning about the ins and outs, or attempting to anyway, for sort of stepping up our production value here at the channel. So I'll take the moment here. There is a new email out there. So I am in prep work for the new laboratory, okay? Lab 2. That's what's happening, baby. And so for the new lab, you can request content. What does that include? Well, you could request a certain type of experiment. You could request a video talking about a certain content matter. Maybe you want to see a video on companion plants. Maybe you want to see a video on me actually finally doing a super soil for the first time ever on the channel. We used to do a lot of super soils back in the day, which was my own sort of subtly augmented version of Subcool's super soil that I first read about many moons ago in the High Times magazine. Yeah, so Stony Baker MD, the new lab is going to be our main grow space. The new grow lab is going to tote a few different things. So it has a full functioning kitchen, which is great. It has a dedicated flowering room. So we're going to have a dedicated flowering room going at all times and doing weekly updates always on that one. So boom, already right there. That's an upgrade here. Little Betty wants to come say hi, everybody. There's little Betty here, little black Betty. Mwah, that's a good girl. You can sit with me. All right, so we're going to have a dedicated flowering room that's always going. And we're also going to have a lot more room at the new lab, too, to do kind of experiments. So we're going to be doing the breeding sort of video series where we're talking about developing strains and how do we do that? What do we do that? What's the methodology behind all that? Say hi, little Betty. Hello, everybody. All right. And we're going to be doing that. We're also going to have a lot more room to sort of do a micro tent city and do a lot of stuff. So that new email is open right now. For you to send in requests for content. That new email is potsquatchdo@gmail.com. That do is with 2 O's because I found that amusing. So basically, potsquatchdoo@gmail.com. And that's where you're going to be able to request all of that wonderful new content. One of the things I'm really excited about the new lab is really we're going to be playing with a lot of strains you've never seen us play with. Jesus Christ. Shut up, you silly puppies! Shush. Don't talk back to me, idiots. There, yeah, come sit with me and then shut up. So we will be bringing back Freak Show. We've actually, big shout out to our friend Chris Matos, who sent us even some Freak Show pollen to do some breeding with. I've got an idea of something that could be done through selective eugenics with the Freak Show mutation of its weird fern foliage. So we're going to do all of that. Some of the new strains that you'll be seeing, some of them will be old school things. Some of them will be some new things. One of the things that Gazzers is sending us right now is some of his newest creations. So he's got the, is based, yeah, right? I would say typhoid, a cat, and heat would definitely be more annoying than my midget dogs. So the K-Town Kush that was developed by Gazzers, which I do believe is basically, it's gone through enough, DJ Drew 24V. We're still waiting for the kids who are buying my house to remove all their final conditions. But to my knowledge, it's more of a semantic little one that they got to do as opposed to, they just got to sign the lease with the park now. But everything else in terms of their mortgage is done. So I'm just kind of waiting on that. I will be a lot less stressed once that's all dotted and signed because then we can move on. But the K-Town Kush is a blending of, according to Gazzers, if I'm remembering correctly, Afghani Kush, Hindu Kush, and a Master Kush, I believe. So we're going to be playing with that on the channel. He's also got some wonderful new inventions, which is an AK-47 crossed with K-Town Kush. We've got K-Town Kush crossed with a Indica Sat cheese hybrid. All right, the traditional original cheese obviously being a 100% Sat. This new age one is about a 60-40 split, 60% Indica, 40% Sat. I have had it before, never grown it myself before. But so it does have those cheesy notes typically, but it has a little bit more of that Indica luster, and it's not quite as stanky as the original cheese Sats were. So we've got that cross. We've also got an outdoor Indica Kiwi strain that he's crossed with Canadian White Russian. So we're going to be doing with that. Mike Sparks, do I like sativas? Not really, no. I kind of hate them actually. But not to say that there aren't Sats out there that I do or I don't like, or there are Sats that exist that I do like. Obviously, the old school skunk will always have a special place in my heart. I like the traditional White Widow. That's a good one. Probably one of my favorite Sats of all time. Yeah, right, KJ38? There you go. So probably my favorite sativa of all time, though, would be a cheese sativa, though. Cheese sativa is a great, wonderful thing. Sativa was the dominating force in even the BC market many moons ago. But for me personally speaking, I'm more into the Indica and Kush world variations. However, that's what we'll do. Is the Freak Show pretty dank? I've never had the chance to try it. From those who I know who have tried it, it's not actually that special. It's kind of a shit producer, kind of slow, and it's not that great. From the brief moment I had some freak shows going before we had to euthanize them, before we tried to sell this house and break down the lab, they did have a very skunky aroma to them, astonishingly so. So that's where I'm really curious to play with them again at the new lab and play around with that, as well as do some selective breeding with them, where I'm going to try to isolate the mutation while getting rid of the flower. So I'd love to see a Hindu Kush with those mutations, rather than the flower that Freak Show in and of itself is currently creating. But again, I haven't personally had the chance to actually smoke it. So that'll be one of the things that'll be fun for us to check out as well at the new place. Is it just short bus weed? Laugh out loud, diff, but not special. It's kind of like that. I mean, I can't give you a definitive answer in terms of it, because I have yet to actually try the finished flower. I have yet to find anyone getting too excited about the end results from someone who has tried it. And I know that Gazers himself was not overly impressed with it. He found it extremely slow to develop as well. Okay, so DJ Drew 24V says, I'm in week 3 of flower. How much can I really chop off of them safely? Well, one, as long as it's a fairly stable genetic, you can go to town. Again, I like to strip out the bottom 30% of my plants. I lollipop those ladies hard. Sometimes if they're a tall, leggy lady, I'll even take more than 30% of that foliage. And we're talking clean strip. We're taking that all out on the bottoms of your plants, okay? But then I'm also going to go through there, and I'll do, around week 2 or 3, I'll do a fairly heavy selective defoliation. Usually I'll do one right at the start of flip. After 2 or 3 weeks, I'll go back in there and do a fairly heavy strip again. And then going forward into flower, it's more of a war of attrition, where every day or every other day, I'll go in and I'll do a little bit more. Typically doing my big final super pluck strip, if I got the time, right before that last week hits. So sort of halfway through our flush. All right, let's see here. Yeah, right. Like Alex Squatch, like I like a super skunky strain. I do like the smell. I enjoy the smell of it. For me, part of the why I've never really, been into sativas is more so to do one. I don't like the effects. I find that sativas make me personally quite anxious. My brain already moves fast enough. I don't need any bloody help with that. And then at the end of the day, it's weird, but like most sativas seem to kind of dry out the soft palate of the back of my kind of throat there, and then it kind of almost goes up into my nose, and I don't like it. Pollen can be viable up to 3 or 4 years if properly stored. Again, proper storage, keep it in the freezer. Put it in an inert glass, non-reactive, and if you store it in the freezer, and we're not talking like, super freeze the shit, but I mean, drop her down below 0. For long-term storage, you can keep her good for, at least a few years usually. As time goes on, it will lose viability. However, even if something's less viable now, that doesn't mean there's still not active positive pollen in it that can work, okay? Again, we got to keep it away from light as well. And that's what I typically do, though, for long-term pollen storage. Yeah, essentially, think about it like that way, Stony Baker MD. Is exactly what we're doing. We're mimicking the winter and rocking it that way. Hell yeah, sounds good, Malcolm Smith. Thank you for tuning in. And if you're outie for now, but good to see you, buddy. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sorry that the schedule currently until we get to the new lab's a little over the place at times, just given that one, occasionally I got stuff that pops up, or two. Once in a blue moon, you'll find a Scotsman walking across your country, raising money to save the trees, and you got to show him some Canadian hospitality there. So, okay, so Alex Squatch, I mean, it's definitely got some viability. You got to remember, you've got some time window. Don't just leave it in there, though, right? Once your quote-unquote male is nutted within your count, collect it, okay? Put it together, put it into a jar there, and then keep it for long-term storage. Light will denature pollen faster if you leave it. So, I mean, once it nuts, quote-unquote, you can harvest that out, scrape her all together, pick out the bits if you need to, and you'll be good to go. And that's true, Stony Baker MD, but at the end of the day, a sativa is still always a sativa, even if you do a late pick. So if I have to grow a sat, I'm still going to do a late pick on it, but it's never really going to touch my happy place, shall we say. All right, Gazzers. Well, I hope the trimming is going well for you. What did you just recently bring down there, buddy? All right, so Mike Sparks, typically any basic, decent potting soil, you don't need to feed right away. There should be enough nutrition to easily carry the plant for at least the first 3 or 4 weeks. You really don't need to be feeding a shitload of food at that early vegetative state. Once the plant's fairly set into itself, and let's go with the plant is now well structured, maybe 12 to 16 inches, and it's got, at least 7, 8, 9, 10 nodal layers to it. And you've had it in the soil for at least 3 or 4 weeks of veg, then I'm going to start slowly introducing my veg feed. I'll pick it up over the next week or two, and then I'll go fairly heavy if I'm doing an aggressive veg. Especially one thing to remember too, with using high-end LED lighting systems, the plant gets hungrier. It's going to eat more food than it typically does, because again, with LED, we're not force feeding photons into the plant like we would with the traditional high-intensity discharge lighting system like an HPS or a metal halide. It's more conducive to the plant cells being able to actually gently absorb what it wants, which also will then in turn equal it to be able to do slightly greater amounts of work, but then it gets hungrier at the same time. For those of you who are new here, there's a bunch of links that are being shared there. So Gazzers shared the light link. That's where you get your very own Squatch lighting systems, some of the most affordable professional grade tech around. The second link there shared, that one's by Nicole. That's our Facebook group there. Anyone's welcome in the Facebook group, by the way. Please answer the questions or we can't let you in. It is, in fact, a liability. Potsquatchsales.com is where you currently buy your CBD tinctures, currently available in the States. We are working on opening borders up. We are also launching 3 new products very shortly. I actually got all of the custom, so they actually made 2 custom scents for Uncle Potsquatch for the new beard oil. That's even going to be able to be exported into Canada, so we're working right now to try to get that into a bunch of stores, both in the States and Canada. The 2 scents will be one, which is a whiskey cedar wood scent they've made for me, and the other one, I've named it my own name. I'm calling it Squatch Stank. I'm really into it. It's actually my preferred of the 2 scents. And where I used to use a CBD beard oil from Dab Skincare, our own new line actually has vastly more CBD in it. So there's 300 milligrams to ours, where there was 100 milligrams in their bottle. And it's got a plethora of wonderful natural essential oils in there to keep your skin and beard happy. So that'll be launching both in Canada and the States. We're working on that right now, but we're also launching at the same time 2 more products. We've got gel tabs of CBD coming out, as well as CBD gummies. And that will all be available on potsquatchsales.com. And it's also going to be available. We're working right now to try to get into Target, Walmart, CVS, and that's in the States. In Canada, I'm trying to get us into Shoppers Drug Mart and London Drugs, which will at least be to start with the beard oil. And there we go. The next link that's being shared there by Nicole is the new Discord server. It is in its sort of newer development. And again, I'm not always on it, but I'm trying my darndest, and we do have moderators there too to help kind of keep that going. So it's one of those newer things that we're working on. The 2 emails that will be shared there, Nicole Lenman has shared potsquatch2@gmail.com. That's where you're going to go and make your requests for new content. Once we get into the new lab and the new everything set up, we're going to be doing that. And then the potsquatch420@gmail.com. Obviously, that's when you email Uncle Potsquatch and try to get a hold of me. So one of the exciting things too is obviously we have stepped up. 1 second here. Awesome. I'm glad they're liking it, Typhoid. Right, I agree, Alex Squatch. We're working hard on that, and we'll be out there in a bunch of stores eventually. We're working really hard on that. And, yeah. But one of the exciting things that I'm excited about is obviously for the new lab, I'm not going to be, so I had a couple of the Mark I lights. One of them I'm trading to our friend Caden Crooks there for some sound equipment for the new show. I've got another 2 of them at least, though, that will be sitting there. So I've decided I'm bringing all new equipment in with our new builds and our new designs. So at the new lab, one of the things we're going to be doing to celebrate the new lab is I'm going to be giving away a couple of the first ever made Squatch lights. Yes, they are with the old LM561C 3500 Kelvin chip. They have slightly more failure points than our new builds, right? Like they were the first lights we ever built and released. They're not quite as fancy as our new ones, but they crank like bats out of hell. I still love them. I used them all the way up until we broke down the lab. So we're going to be doing some giveaways for people at home who are struggling to afford equipment. We did it once with the "They Shall Not Be Named" piece of shit light way back when, and we're going to be doing it now with ours. So I'm going to be putting up, and we're going to be doing some giveaways there for the Potsquatches without a buck, but who need a buck. You know what I mean? And so that'll be one of the fun things we're going to be doing to celebrate at the new lab, because at the end of the day, is pretty fun. Richard Harrington, I actually am my own LED brand already. We've been on market for almost 2 years now. We're one of the most affordable professional grade tech around. So that would be a conflict of interest both for my company and my business partners. At the end of the day, if you guys are brave and you want me to do a compare and contrast of your lights versus mine, I guess maybe as long as my business partners are okay with that, maybe we could do that. And I could do at least a compare and contrast run, and we could do a fun scientific experiment to compare and contrast on that one. But then I'll just give the thing away to someone who is in need. But we are actually a lighting brand. We've been around for almost 2 years, and we're stirring up the pot and kicking ass and taking names. We've sold lights all over the world, from Australia to South Africa, throughout Europe, all across the States, all across Canada. I've also come to realize I hate Canada Post because they seem to beat the crap out of shit when we try to ship it in Canada. But at the end of the day, as long as my business partner's okay, I'm totally okay with that. And it's not like I'm against other companies standing up and trying to serve the people. As long as you're a company that's trying to stand for the people and with the people, I mean, that's not a horrible thing. We build some pretty fucking dangerous lights. So if you're brave enough to put yours up against ours, you're welcome to. Yeah, sounds good. Just put attention, Josh, Richard from the show or something in the subject line, because then my brain will register. Often I will get a lot of emails sometimes to that email, and occasionally I miss things. So again, just put a big fat subject line that'll like pick my brain, like or I'll notice it basically. Well, then that's beautiful, Richard, and I respect that, mate. But really excited about the new lab. So like I said, not only will this be a way for those of you at home who are really struggling to try to get equipment together. I mean, every time I try to give something away, excuse me, especially when it's one of my lights or something, or one of my older things, I try to make our rigs available for those who can't really afford them, right? So, we did the first ever one way back when, and it will be, simply put, it's called the, what did I call it last time? Giveaway for Potsquatches without a buck who need a buck, or something like that. I called it something like that. We'll do the same bloody thing. I got a couple of them that I'm doing some trades just to acquire the equipment that we'll need for the new set. Caden Crooks of District Records has been nice enough to offer us a trade on the powering unit for our new microphones. We're bringing in SM7Bs, very fancy microphones. Not necessarily the world's most expensive, but they're still a certain decent chunk of fucking change. It's a little bit more than Uncle Potsquatch had intended to spend on microphones. But at the end of the day, Caden Crooks said, man, if you take care of this mic, it'll walk your whole career with you. To my knowledge, it's the same microphone that Joe Rogan uses on his show, and it's the same microphone that was used by Michael Jackson to record Thriller. So we got that coming out. So I'm doing a trade there with Caden there. And, hey, maybe I can entice Adam back, because I technically promised the second ever built Squatch light ever to Adam many moons ago. I just haven't talked to him, but I even signed it for him. So, I mean, I'm a man of my word, and I'll live up to that. But we'll have at least two of our original rigs that we can actually use to try to give away to help some people out in our community. So I'm really looking forward to that. Even though it's our first ever built light, And it has more failure points than usual on the new ones. We went from like 28 failure points to like 20 or to like 8 or 9 failure points in the new lights. We were able to find a sort of a better sheet to convert into the chassis. But at the end of the day, they work great. Like, I mean, I killed it, and I kept running those up until our last run. So I'm looking forward to that. We're not rich, but it makes me really happy to try to help people out any chance we get the chance to. So I'm really looking forward to that, everybody. Maybe we'll do one week and then one the next week, or I'll find out the best way for that to work. And yeah, but KJ38. I mean, it happens sometimes. We usually have a troll attack of some sort every, I don't know, one to 4 times a year. I mean, we get trolls all the time. I'm not necessarily everyone's favorite person, and that's completely okay. Didn't start any of this to become anyone's favorite person. And at the end of the day, I found it kind of funny in one sense. Sure, it was very gruesome and horrific, what was being said. And here I thought I was losing relevance. And they should be shook, because we're about to come back with more educational videos than we've ever done. We're going to be professional grade on everything we're doing in terms of our video content. We're going to be doing, using the Streamlabs and high-end cameras, multi-cameras, co-mixing the show. I'm really excited. I'm a little intimidated by Streamlabs, personally speaking. I'm a little intimidated by it. I won't lie. I am not a computer guru or anything. But it will allow us to not only be able to easily bring, yes, that would not necessarily be PM. Alex Squatch more than likely is probably some form of mold. It's even could be like a microzyme, depending on if you have any of that in your environment. I wouldn't freak out too much about it. But on the new shows, it's going to be really exciting. I can bring some people on the show sometimes. We can do interviews. We can bring other people from the industry in. I'm going to be able to pull up videos. I'm going to be able to pull up images. So like when let's say you're at home and you're like, Uncle, yes. And then it could be like tap, 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 tap. It could be mycelium as well too, but mycelium you don't necessarily see all the time. Stony Baker MD, and mycelium is what turns into magic mushrooms. So if you got some big old shrooms growing in your pot, you got some mycelium. But white mold is okay. Dark is bad. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're really, really worried about seeing subtle molding on the top of your rock wool or whatever the hell you're using, hit it with a little H2O2 or something. You'll be fine. But anyway, at the end of the day, what was I fucking saying before that? Shit. Typing, computer stuff. Oh, right. Yeah. So you're at home, right? And we're doing the show. And you're all like, man, I can't send you a picture. I don't know. So then what I can do is I can actually, like, with this program, I can bring pictures up during the live show and live mix it. So I can be like, all right, so Stony Baker MD at home sent us this image today with this question. Let's show it to everybody. It'll come into the show and I'll show it to you and all of that crap and stuff and all of that. That was Caden's idea, Stony, but I will do it for everybody. Maybe not tonight because I'm not feeling 100% at the moment, but we will work on that. But one of the fun things we're going to be able to do is kind of be more interactive with the audience that way, and doing really kind of breaking some stuff down and having some fun with it. One of the great things is that, a lot of you kept asking for, doing some form of super chat or the ability, to make a donation to the show. I've resisted it, even though there are technical ways to make donations currently. As you can see, some of you have paid for the support of just doing a little membership fee, and that's always really appreciated, very much so, everybody at home. It helps us keep the... we'll see what happens, Johnny Karaoke. We'll see how long what micro means to me. Often I say, we're going to do a micro show or a tiny show, and I end up going longer than I usually do, because I just start talking. But, so... what we're going to be doing, though, with that one, so there will be the ability to have a tip function. With Streamlabs as well, one of the things that I found out recently from the SAG-AFTRA union, that's film and stuff, by the way, everybody, and as an actor and stuff, I'm not part of any of the current unions myself. But one thing I wouldn't mind for our channel and for our media brand and our little company is to join the SAG-AFTRA union. So we're actually going to be eligible, and we will be able to join the union potentially. So one of the things I think we have to do for that one is get a couple of sponsors. So obviously, a lot of companies out there. I mean, I already make the tech that they make, so they're out. And so one thing though that like for sponsorships, like I'm actually trying to get Budweiser, which is Labatt's in Canada, on board. I'm trying to get Jameson Irish Whiskey or Weiser's Deluxe Canadian Rye Whiskey on board. And I will have the opportunities going forward to maybe solidify some of those relationships I've been working on. So that'll be really fun. I'm excited about that. And the cool thing is I'm actually having my old MacBook Pro rebuilt with all new parts in it. So we're going to be using my supercomputer to run all the live stream stuff. And so we're going to be using SM7B microphones. We're going to be using really fancy dancy cameras and all that crap. And it's going to be so pretty. I'm going to be a little fat and shit. I'm going to integrate all my security system cameras into some of it. So I can be like sitting there, I'll click the button, and then it'll switch to that. Oh, that's beautiful. No, Pilgor's a good motherfucker, and he's good people, my friend. He's a good motherfucker. Big shout out to Pilgor, my friend, down the way in the US of A. And so anyway, but I'm really excited about it because we've never really done that as a channel. We've been very grassroots with how we do our content. It's basically just been me yelling into a cell phone the whole time. Somehow it's turned into something. And so basically, we're really going to be stepping up our value in terms of the production, okay? And all of our videos now, they're going to be edited, like actually edited. Like, I'm not just going to fucking slap a few things together on my phone and upload it. I'm going to be doing, well, at least as good as I can do it. I mean, my goal is to have stuff that's as pretty, if not prettier than Mr. Canuck. But he's got his production value really, really, dialed in well. So, and I'm not really the smartest man when it comes to these things. I am a filmmaker, but I'm more of a director, and then I hire nerds. And I'm a nerd too, by the way, just not this type of nerd, to do that work for me. But we're working on it. I'm figuring it out. I'm teaching myself. I mean, I had another new book. I'm buying lots of books on the internet about all this types of shit and reading up. So trying to get ready to do that. But I'm really excited, everybody. Like, we're about to fucking have the videos go through the roof in terms of their quality, their content. What's up, Visible Films, Pilgor? We were just talking about you, my friend. Don't worry, good things. It was fine. I was just saying a shout out because you're wonderful people down at the farm there. But I'm really excited for that. You know what I mean? Like, so not only will the videos be more concise, and we're going to be doing a hell of a lot of how-to videos. Like, we're going to reimagine a bunch of shit. I'm going to remake some of the original videos that I used to do. A nerd that smokes weed? Yeah, you'd be surprised at how many nerds smoke weed, my friend. I was even often the valedictorian in school, even though I didn't remember doing anything. But yeah, no, I'm excited though. And so I'm gonna remake a few of the original videos from back in the day. What's up, Wake and Bake Fred Fury, baby? Welcome to the show. We're also gonna be doing this huge, beautiful fucking finally do the cloning video for you and all these other wonderful things. I'm gonna be taking my job as the Potsquatch even more seriously than I have been. Just for you to have more fun at home and to make it a little bit easier to make the knowledge accessible for everybody. So big things are coming. Really big things are coming. I'm really excited about it. It's nearly killed me to get us there. And back at you, Pilgor. It's nearly killed me to get us there, but we're almost done. We've almost accomplished it all. We bought the house. The Lab 2 I own it. Well, I'll own it May 3rd. I take possession May 3rd, but I've bought it. It's my fucking house. So I'm just excited to see what we can do all together and as a community. And I'm really looking forward to, I'm going to bring in some of our new tech and stuff, and then we'll give away some of the old stuff for those in need in our community. So I'm really looking forward to that. Plus, one of the big things I'm really excited about is playing with a bunch of strains none of you have ever seen. I got a lot of different things tucked away, and more by the day that come in. So we're going to be really having some fun there. And it's going to be a good time. For those of you who are just noticing Nicole's message there, basically what she's saying is, please answer all the questions. Yes, technically there is a secondary question that says, do you agree to the group rules? And that may feel redundant. It is a liability legally. It's done that way. So answer the first 3 questions, then answer the second redundant question, okay? Just please, it just makes our lives so much easier in terms of the moderation. For about that. because then we can just let you into the bloody Facebook group, okay? And for those of you who don't like Facebook, we have a Discord server now to hang out. I do believe that in months to come, in the years to come, the Discord server will blossom into a beautiful community like our little Facebook group has, and we will be good. I got a strike for running a PSA, so looking for different platforms before replaying. What public service announcement did you run, Wake and Bake, Fred Fury? I mean, there's certain content things that YouTube will get mad at, but yeah, she's a fickle mistress. I mean, like YouTube and a lot of the social media platforms. Like, I mean, my Instagram's restricted now because I tried to do an ad for our new CBD tinctures and our CBD products. Not only are they not illegal, they're FDA fucking approved. They're made in an FDA fucking facility. Yet somehow I'm a duke, right? Like, I don't know. But again, Facebook owns Instagram, at least currently, right? So what are you going to do? We got to be smart. Back when we were trying to... Potsquatch they said medical misinformation. Medical misinformation is one of those hot topics right now because even the news itself does medical misinformation. So at the end of the day, one thing I find works really well, Fred Fury. There's actually more to my humble 2 cents statement when I talk, and it's not just about weed. I often use it when it comes to other topics too. That's the simple admission of, in my humble 2 cents, to my awareness, to this hypothetical, will protect you from that. So the real thing is just to be careful in terms of your wording, buddy, because they'll crucify you for just a subtle miscalculation on wording. I am sorry about that. I've actually had strikes wrongfully done towards our channel. The first one I couldn't get rid of, but it was just a warning. Then we got hit again. I actually appealed it and won. So I guess my strongest suggestion would be, if you haven't appealed it yet, please appeal that strike. Try to plead the case with them. It may work, it may not. It's kind of like 1 out of 100 times that any one of our channels kind of gets to have a strike appealed. Like I was shocked when we got our strike appeal processed and approved. I was like, well, all right. But it happens, right? And yeah, no, I know. No, don't worry. Wake and Bake, Fred Fury. I mean, I've always been aware that YouTube is a platform that sometimes comes after our kind. And, at the end of the day, luckily we've grown to a point where, even if we were to be deleted overnight, we will just come back. Plus, I have a lot of lawyers. Can't necessarily afford to mobilize all of them for not a good cause. But at the end of the day, that's where we just got to be smart as content creators, because think about it like pot legalization. It's still an ongoing movement globally, and we have a right to make our type of content. We have a right to exist. We have a right to be entertainers. We have a right to educate people. We have a right to be here doing our stuff. If someone doesn't like it, don't tune into the damn show. So I think we just got to stick to our guns and really work hard on that one, and we'll get it there. And we've got to stick together and just be smart. And at the end of the day, it's like we are tiny compared to the conglomerate that is YouTube or Google. And so at the end of the day, simply put, how you do it is we got to be like the old warrior there. Pick our battles and be smart. You know what I'm saying? Well, there you go, right? I'm astonished that I don't have more, because sometimes I have opinions too. But at the end of the day, let's just do our best to kind of create sort of safe content for people, and let's hope YouTube kind of wakes up one day. But we're working on it. I think we've definitely come a long way in terms of YouTube as a platform for growers. I definitely think we are more accepted now than we once were. There was a time where none of us could have gone to the YouTube partnership program to do any form of monetization or any of these other things. Like, we just weren't allowed. We were told no. I resisted it for years because it went against kind of certain things, but I realized that I had to do it for natural progression for what we're trying to do in the long run, right? So eventually we were allowed to do that. And I actually had to put in an appeal saying, because I was banned for years. And they just said, like, you're not allowed to ever join the partnership program because of the content you make. So I did an application to have that changed. I sent them a big old, I don't even remember exactly how it worked even, but I remember doing it. And I got my chance to write my little piece and my little things and this or that and this or what and blah, 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 blah. And then in the end, though, they approved us and they said, you know what? We agree with you. You can join the partnership program. I was like, oh, right, rock and roll. What's up, Scully's House of Thrillers, my friend? Good to see you, baby. What's crack lacking? What's up, Happy Grower? But we are in interesting times, both in terms of social media platforms, trying to learn to do business with our kind. Banks persecute us continuously. I had to change the name of my corporation to even get a bank account for my company. We've had our PayPal account seized multiple times wrongfully. I'm at about $1,600 currently between two accounts that have been seized. And they say, oh, you might get your money back in 6 to 9 months. Well, that was a year ago, and I still don't have it. So, which has really kind of put a wrench in the machine, like for a little swag store. Like we sell grinders and papers and hats and T-shirts and stuff on that website, and we've been through 9 payment portals now. Just won't happen, Stony Baker MD. It's not really a thing. You can't really re-veg an auto. She's just gonna keep growing and grow a bunch of nuts and nut all over your shit. Doesn't really work that way. Sad but true. Hey, I know, right, Fred? It was over here the other day. It was like 15, 16 degrees. We had sun today for quite some time, too. It was probably about 9 or 10 degrees today, and it's nice. Spring is almost here, everybody. Get your outdoor things ready. But, it's been an ongoing journey. Like, I've had an online store right now that's costing me money every single month to have that I can't process sales through. I've had hundreds of emails from people like, why can't I buy a hat? Why can't I buy a shirt? Why can't I buy papers? Why can't I buy grinders? And so Shopify basically said to me, we have no issues with what you do, but our payment portal will not support you. So you can have a store, but we're not going to let you use our payment portal. And so after PayPal screwed us, and then they screwed us too, about a year and a bit in, I'm sitting here with the sexiest pretend store you ever saw, and a lot of swag I can't do dick all with until we get that up and running. So I've been working with a lot of different companies. I thought we were going to get there with our friend Michael, and what was the name of their company? It was maybe Pinnacle, something like that. In the end, though, their underwriters told me to fuck off too. Sad but true. We'll get there. We'll get our right to exist. We'll get our time to shine. But even in Canada, for example, it's all illegal. Nothing I do is illegal at all. But yet I can't get bank accounts as a company. I can't do any of this because there's this puritanistic nature to the banking industry, which was actually one of the big topics that I was talking about on the show All In with Rick Jordan. That's available on Apple Podcast. Check it out. But I mean, we get there, baby. We're gonna get there, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, if there's one thing I think any of you who are at home who've been watching me, even for a short while or a long while, I'm one of the most stubborn fucking pricks on the face of the planet. And we're not going anywhere. We're already a global movement. We're a global organization. We're a global community. We're a global brand and company. And we've got big things coming. So we will not be told no, and we will keep going. The problem is, Wake and Bake, Fred Fury, is most of the cryptocurrency platforms told us no too. And I'm like, why are you so mad at t-shirts? I do have a couple of potential ones. I've just been so busy with trying to sort of save the channel, save the company, save everything, that it kind of took a back burner for me, stressing and worrying about trying to find this payment portal that somehow will work for our stuff. I will do it. I will find bloody someone, even if I have to start my own damn payment portal. We'll get there. But it's one of those things where I just got to get to the new lab. We'll get the new lab set up. We're going to get that going, and we'll go from there. Stone Gamer, I have merch. I've got thousands of dollars worth of merch, and I don't use Spring Tea or any of those companies because they want to take a huge chunk. I'd rather go find my own suppliers and develop relationships with them. I have a lot of friends, and supply chains and everything, so like that. So I get my own swag. I do my own contracts, and I bring my own things into my own company, and I will sell it. Yeah, Potcoin. That's just gonna get us in trouble, though, Pilgor. I love it. I love it, but it's just gonna get us in trouble. We'll call it something else. But one of the great things, though, that's very exciting coming forward is, yeah, Squatch Coin. See, I like that. Squatch Coin. We'll go with that one. But one of the exciting new things going on is with these new potential contracts we're going to be doing, getting our stuff into these big stores and starting to do that. Like overnight, once I pull this off, there will be money in our company all of a sudden. And it's amazing how banks and companies all of a sudden care about you and are willing to just shut the hell up and do what you want them to if you have a shitload of money. So I might have to go make a couple million first for them to take me seriously, but we're working on it. And also, too, that's also part of where the money will come from too, for us to be able to do the genetics company and go legal and doing all of that and et cetera, et cetera. So, but at the end of the day, do I really want to go start my own cryptocurrency? Probably not. At the end of the day, if I were to do anything to fight the puritanistic values of things that we seem to keep running into, in my mind, I'd almost start a platform somewhere for all of us to, like a YouTube, but better. But, that's down the road. I've got more important things to focus on right now. But we will all be allowed to exist. The trick to existing, the trick to winning, the trick to forward movement and develop of a new industry and to stand up for your rights and fight for your rights. Sometimes rights need to be fought for. You don't just get them. Rights aren't something that we're just given. The rights we had to fight for. Look at the history of unions. Look at the history of North America, Europe. Look at, all these different parts in our history, And so it's hard, but see, why I don't want to go into a cryptocurrency to process, because I refuse to be told by industry that I have to use cryptocurrency for doing my business. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm a Canadian goddamn citizen. I am the CEO of a fucking legitimate corporation. I have the right to do business under the Constitution of my country, as long as I'm not being a dickhead or break law, etc., which I'm not. So therefore, I'm going to stick to my guns. I refuse to sell. I refuse to just go do that. So, and like most normal people who are fans at home and watching stuff, don't do crypto. They don't want to go do crypto. They want to go on my damn website. They want to pop in their credit card. They want to do a bank transfer. They want to do any of that crap. Then they have a right to do that. And I should have a right to do that. And I refuse to relent on that. So I will not just go, oh, well, you can do this and that. No. Because to me, that feels like bending over and say, come fuck me. No. No. I will keep fighting. The fact is as the weeks go by, as the months go by, I'm making business deals. I'm making connections around the world and building an empire. I've got some very powerful friends now who are in full support of everything we're doing and stand with us. So we ain't going anywhere, And I often feel like industry, and by industry I mean big industry, and the banking industry is often 5 to 15 years behind colloquial shifts and changes. And the funny thing is, if only I had $1 million, I could show up at a bank and they'd fucking take it. If I was rich, they would do everything I want. If I had a bunch of money, they would just do whatever I want. They wouldn't even care. They'd be like, oh, thank you for doing business with me. I'd be like, oh, they're so nice. So thank you so much. But because we're smaller companies who are fighting for a right to go make the millions, who are going to go out there and do our work and work for the people and work for the community. Oh, and let's be fair, a lot of them probably have some vested interest in our competitors out there who we could literally beat 4 ways from Sunday in terms of any actual chronic competition. Take a look at Canadian legalization, okay? How much money have you guys all lost now? Who the fuck loses money selling pot? Idiots. But it takes time. It takes time. What's up, Bodie Lone Wolf? No worries. Better late than never. Welcome to the show. right? But see, Stony Baker MD, the biggest trick here for all of us is to never lose hope. I literally didn't lose hope, and we've secured our house in hope. Uncle Potsquatch is actually going to run for mayor of Hope as well. Whether it's the next municipal election or a few years down the road, who knows? Yeah, right, Stone Gamer? I agree, buddy. I agree. But that's where, though, all these big companies that are allowed to do business failing the way they are is a good thing for us. Because no one's really going to stay in the game if they can't actually make any money. So then maybe we actually might get a chance. I mean, here in British Columbia, we are finally having some positive legislature come to be to 2022, which is the farm to table legislature. So anyone holding a legal craft license, micro nursery license, or any of the sort will be allowed to sell fresh farm to table cannabis, either from their own dispensary at their facility or to government stores. So that will very much change the realities of a lot of the stuff I personally had an issue with when it first kind of happened and all of that jazz, right? So we'll be okay. We just got to stick to our guns, our knives, our blunts, our bongs, our dab rigs, our doobies, our brownies. You can give them hell, boys, girls, these days. Hashtag boom. Slow and steady and stubborn wins the race. Hell yeah, Eugene Dolan. Rest well, my friend. Thank you for tuning into the show. I do remember beepers. I've had beepers in the past. I don't have one now, though. Can you even still get service to a beeper? Can you still get service for those? That's my question. I'm assuming you probably can, but it's probably some like cool, hipstery thing. Now it's like, we've got a beeper. Not saying that you're a hipster because you have a beeper. I'm just saying, like, I could see that have a resurgence of coolness now in modern day times because of the whole hipster motif, but yeah, so Wake and Bake Fred Fury, the only thing big pot companies in Canada are worth for is doing a quick flip. So I actually am a day trader. I do that as a hobby for fun. Basically, when they bottom out, they do fluctuate. So you can do quick flips in terms of a day trading motif. You can make a few bucks off them. And the way I look at it is if you can successfully execute that and take advantage of a big pot company briefly to make a few bucks, not a big deal. I'd say that's almost honorable. But, at the end of the day, that green boom is sailed. The true green boom has a very different face than it ever really was thought to have. And I mean, I always knew that from day one. I mean, you can't. Part of the problem that happened in Canada is the government thought it could come in and reinvent the industry, and it just works how they say now. But it's like you're coming at an industry that's existed for decades. There's a certain way business is done. There's a certain level and quality of product and type of product that is required to be successful. We all know that. Like, think about back in the hood days. If your sack of weed sucks and your prices are bad, you ain't going to sell any weed. And then you're going to be sitting on a bunch of old shitty weed. The Canadian government would have been vastly more intelligent not to work with the super rich only, to include some of us in the industry and allow the people who actually understand how the industry works to be part of it. That's what I was fighting for originally. And then, well, that didn't happen. But I'm now fighting to grow what we can. We're doing all of these diversified projects now and everything that we do. And then I will, even though it's going to cost me far too much money and I have an issue with that, I don't care. I'm going to get into the legal world because then I'm going to angle myself into a position of power that I can influence legislature. All the big companies, they want tissue cultures. They don't want to breed cannabis. They don't want any of that. They want to rent it like Netflix rents movies. All right. Well, I'll become your source tap to all that shit. And then if I don't like what you're doing, well, I'm just going to turn that tap off. So we got to be creative, my friends. Remember, we are tiny, but we are fierce. And if we stand together and move uniformly, we can shake some shit up. Never forget that. We can never forget that. We have power, unified.
What's up, Soul Price? How you doing, my friend? That's all right, Soul Price. YouTube loves me. No, exactly, right? I know, wake and bake. It is a weird world we're currently living in, buddy. But it's all going to be all right, everybody. There's a few of us about that aren't going to take it, and we're fighting for it. How bad is it if you smoke pot that had PM? If it was extremely bad, make you really, really sick, Romans. I would never, ever tell someone to ever safely ingest PM pot. The only thing that I'm aware of that can safely remove the active cannabinoids from PM infected pot, we'll call it infected because it sounds dramatic, is using a high-end distillate machine that is using the pH differentiated natures of the cannabinoid skins themselves to separate it out. It's the only way to remove active cannabinoids without having the spores being active. So no, that's a no-no. It'll make you very, very sick. It was funny, actually, because we were talking about Adam Squatch, and we're all worried about Adam Squatch. So Adam Squatch bought a house and was with this lady who was not so nice. She ended up having a secret affair with his best friend. So he lost his best friend and the girl he bought a house with. This was months and months and months ago, right before we went to the Saskatoon Medicinal Harvest Cup. But there was some subtle positivity of one thing where Adam got a win. So the Dinkelnuts, who was his best friend, who turned out to be a Judas and a dick, was growing chronic too. And he didn't understand what PM was. So he grew the most PM infested, disgusting weed. And then he kept telling everybody that his pot is just super crystally. So the chick, who was horrible to Adam, went and smoked a crap load of it and ended up in the hospital. I don't wish ill on anyone, but I'm very protective of people who I view as my little brother or sister. And, well, serves you right, bitch. Oh, it's like super crystally, man. My weed's just so much crystalier than anyone's. No, you're about to make some people really fucking sick. Oh, and by the way, in about 6 months, there's going to be other shit happening where respiratory issues may be a thing. So don't do it. Powdery mildew is the technical term, everybody. It is called that because it is one technically part of the mildew family, not the mold family, which is a subsect, but it's also powdery in nature. So you're going to be able to see it the way it grows and the spores replicate on your plant. It almost turns into this powdery like substance. So you can't quite wipe it all off, but you can wipe some of it off. And it's like this weird almost, you don't want to meet it if you see it, right? But it is very much called a powder because that's how it starts to excrete out of the green leaf. But it's bad for you. It's very bad, anyone. Whether it doesn't matter whether you're a smoker, it doesn't matter whether you're super healthy, it doesn't matter whether you have pre respiratory issues or no respiratory issues. It's gonna fuck anyone. Like especially those who already have pre-existing conditions. So that's really bad. But be careful with it, guys, girls, these days. Like just don't fuck around with PM. It is bad. Yeah, typically powdery mildew is detectable, but only once it's fully seeded into the heart of the bud. I have a very sensitive sense of smell, so I usually can smell it quicker than most. Um, Most people's ability to smell it, it takes a while, but I mean, if you can smell it, it's bad. No worries, Red Claws. I've got a thinking. My thinking on it is one, YouTube's always loved us, Red Claws, and two, part of it has to do with the fact that our content scheduling has not been kind of normally consistent usually right now because we're in transition. I picture myself as the weird caterpillar in the cocoon right now, about to emerge harder, faster, stronger, and hairier than you've ever seen before. And so once we get back into that normal scheduling, though, your normal scheduled programming, it'll probably give at least half of you the notification then. Yeah, it is what it is. Like I said, like we were talking about earlier, we just got to fight. We got to fight hard. Okay, so you didn't get a sound notification, but at least they gave you half the notification then. The technical notification went through, it just didn't make a sound. Which I find ironic or funny because I'm such a loud prick. He's too loud, take away the sound. Oh man. And another one of the common things, well, now that we're talking about general, issues of things that can go wrong with our stuff, okay? Let's talk about bud rot now for a while. Bud rot is bad. Don't consume that either. Typically, if you see bud rot starting to set in, whether it's an indoor or an outdoor crop, okay, what you got to do is, let's say this arm here is the top cola, okay? Let's say the top looks beautiful. Okay, let's say you see some bud rot like here though, okay? You're not just gonna amputate here. You're actually gonna go down 2 to 4 inches below that and amputate there. At least 2 to 4 nodal levels, okay? And then, once you've done that amputation, what you really need to do is you need to take a look at your environment. So if it's indoors, that's what you can do. If it's outdoors, there's not tons you can do, but there's a little bit you can do. But outdoors, we're going to take a look at air movement. We're going to take a look at our relative humidity. And, well, that's about it, to be fair. Relative humidity and air movement are kind of the two quintessential motifs on making sure our plants don't rot on us. I even myself sometimes have had it accidentally hit me. Haven't had it in a couple of years, but, it does happen. And these things happen to even the best of us, okay? It's just knowing how to handle the situation when these things arise, okay? And bud rot is also a very real thing. So we got to watch for that. That's why I'm a huge, big fan, okay, of my indoor grows, having a dehumidifier that's sitting there ready to actually work with that and actually deal with it. So like, for example, most of my grows, like all I really need is a 70 pint in there. So I do a 70 pint dehumidifier, but it's on auto drain. So I've got a tube running out the back so it can drain into piping. And it'll just kick itself on when things hit to that range where you program it that you don't like. I agree, visible farms pilgor as well. Because if you don't defoliate, especially when it comes to indoors, you're really reducing, even with air movement from your tack, you're not having that air movement through your canopy. And if you ever notice, like let's say this fan leaf here and this fan leaf here, and they go like this. Okay, so even if you've got air movement going through there, you can get these giant moisture pockets that are trapped in between them. Okay, and that's not good. It's bad. Okay, so that's where selective defoliation is a truly beneficial technique, not only to maximize our grows and maximize kind of like all of our buds, and it's really going to help us to cut down on issues, right? So if you've got a good defoliation with good air movement and your relative humidity spikes, you won't necessarily get fucked by that. Still don't do it, but but it is a very legitimate point. So very good point there, Brother Pilgor. I agree with you 100%. Yeah, I wish this was a Marshall tube. It's a digital Marshall head. It's a 100-watt Marshall head. I use it to run the 1600-watt Behringer that's underneath it. Far too loud for my neighbors, but but at the end of the day, it's just about, and again, when these issues arise, everyone at home, especially for the newer growers out there, or hell, even some of the more advanced growers, don't panic. Let's go to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. That's an important rule. Don't panic. Okay? You're going to assess the issue. You're going to see how bad it is. When you see it in one spot, well, you got to go through that whole grow now, and you need to fucking check that out and see what's going on. Okay? Number one trick is deal with the initial issue where you see it. But then, once you're done dealing with that, you got to go through and check it. And that's where I'm a huge advocate, okay?
to daily gardening. Get in your grows every goddamn day, even if it's just walking around for 20 minutes. If you don't have tons of chores to do that day, well, one, how? I mean, I've got chores every day in mine, but that's just how my style is. But get in there every day. Even if you've got high-end timers, go in and check to make sure they go out when they're supposed to. Check for these hypothetical issues. Daily gardening and daily attendance in your grow is one of the most beneficial, positive habits for any grower to get into. It doesn't matter whether you're growing 2 plants or whether you're growing a bajillion plants. It doesn't change the principle of it. Just means there's more work to do if you got a shitload of them. What's 80 degrees in Celsius again, Pilgor? Forgive my inability to seemingly ever do this conversion easily in my head. I really got to get a cheat sheet for the new set so I can just have it there. You know what I mean? Oh, we got a puppy UFC happening below me here. They are me. I've seen black mold once or twice, but typically, I mean, black mold isn't something that will easily naturally occur in your grow unless you have a source of the spore of itself already there. So I have seen it. It is rare. And one of the biggest tricks with that one is deep clean. Get in there and deep clean the crap out of all your stuff, okay? Any type of mold, PM or pollen attack, like, I mean, deep cleaning our grows in between runs is very important. If we're running perpetual grow, then working in a way to do deep cleans while we're running this perpetual reality is very important, okay? You know, yes, I have seen them, but it is typically quite rare. If you're growing indoors, I think you need to really, really address that, in my humble 2 cents, and do a real deep clean your fans, clean your crap, etc., etc., etc. Around 32. Thank you, Red Claws. My goodness, that's so hot, man. That's heiß. Sehr heiß. Aber my homie out here, he grows fairly hot too in his grows too, right? Like, we have different styles, even though we grow the same types of genetics. We just have different approaches to it. 32 for me is way too hot. But then again, I hate the heat. Yeah, see, that would sound like it's Stone Gamer to me. I mean, I've got a buddy. He's not a grower. He's just living in a house. It's 26.6. No, that's not too bad then. At 32, I'm busy and heiß, but das is good. But like, I got a buddy down the road, and you know, he's not a grower, right? He's just a dude living in a house. But you know, and they've had like really hard time. Like, they even renovated the whole house. They ripped out everything, and they seemingly fixed everything. And then he's got the black mold coming back in his house. So once it sets in, it's a bloody pain in the ass to get her going. But all right, and if I'm not Red Claws, have a beautiful night, my friend. Thank you for tuning in, and wonderful to see you, my friend. And I hope you're doing well down in the Fredericton area. If I'm remembering correctly where you're from. It's funny. Underneath this light on the camera, like, my beard looks so orange right now. I've got a feeling with the sun that will come with the summer, my beard will be even more orange in months to come. Now, how bad was your house flooded, if you don't mind me asking, Stone Gamer? Well, you know, I'm a Celtic mudblood. The hair on the top of my head's brown. There's a lot of brown and black actually in my beard too, but there's definitely ginger elements to it. Because, well, simply 5 feet deep. Well, yep, that's some significant water in the home. I would say then, given your experience, that makes a lot of sense to me. Uh-oh. Das ist nicht gut, Zollpreis. Nicht gut. But yeah, so I'm Irish, Scottish, Welsh, German, and English. Doesn't matter which part of that you're referencing. I come from serfs. I come from the poor. There ain't an ounce of blue blood in me. Bare concrete now, nice. All the walls and flooring was stripped. Okay. But yeah, it sounds like it maybe worked its way because I'm assuming they stripped down the bones, dried it out, maybe treated, but then they came back. Like, because like those spores could even be hiding in the frame, the joists in the framework and all that too. Sorry, just being silly, everyone. What's up, brother Rick 702? How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Ah, okay. I'm assuming you're like metaphorically burning the tent with bleach, aka doing a deep, intensive clean. That's good. If you are in fact trying to set it on fire with bleach and that could be bad. Bad fumes. Be careful. But thank you, everyone, though, for tuning into the random, out of nowhere Monday night show tonight. I really appreciate that. I am looking forward very much for us to get back into quote unquote business and getting back into doing what we're doing. Oh, I agree, Stone Gamer. It's a right tricky thing. I agree with you 100%. And at the end of the day, my friend, just know that there is a new world of Squatchness coming. I mean, the new show will be so much sexier. The new live streams are going to be super professional with a lot of cool, fun, new little features happening, but it's still me just being me at the same time. I know it never does, Stone Gamer. It never wants to notify anyone. Again, for those of you at home, check your notifications. It does turn off my followers and subscribers' notification settings often on me. I've had someone happen to them 3 times in 1 week before, at least according to them. And I believe them, because why would they lie about that? But, that does happen, so check it out. But going forward into the new world, we're going to be having weekly update videos in the flowering room. That flowering room will be going. And it unsubs people too, that's true. Or at least I've heard about that. But we're going to be doing perpetual weekly updates in the perpetual flowering room. We're going to be doing all of our experiments as well. We're going to be doing our breeding segments. We're going to be doing tons of new types of videos. Building stuff, playing with stuff, doing a much better job in terms of our exploratory piece here at Potsquatch Growers for being educational for people as well. And so it's going to be sick. I'm looking forward to that. And oh, really? So it happened to you, Stone Gamer? Okay, great. So then, boom, I've got a bona fide thing happening there. So it's done it to you. We're going to be doing tons of how-to videos and really just immersing ourselves in all of it. And just doing a good job in terms of editing. Like I'm going to spend hours editing things and making it pretty and doing this and planning things out and doing all that and crap and blah, 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 blah. And it's going to be good. And I'm looking forward to it. It's been killing me not growing. I hate watching our numbers drop the way they have, but that's okay. Everyone think Potsquatch gone. No, Potsquatch is coming. Potsquatch coming in a way that no one will ever see coming. We will make it. Not only will we make it, we will become the biggest YouTube of pot in Canada. Well, I feel you, brother Rick 702. It is hard, especially if you're wearing gloves, you know what I'm saying? Does not seem to register fingertips. Well, I mean, if you look at the channel right now, or the history, I should say, of the channel of what we've done, with our first setup, and then the first big move, we were at about 3,000 or 4,000 subs before we made that first big move, moving out here to Lab 1. and buying this house and stuff. That was a transitional motif for us. Uh, After being here initially, there was the next transitional motif of trying to get our lighting tech out and getting those installed and setting those up and sort of reworking the lab in there a little bit and getting things going. Then, you know, there's been ups and downs on things while we've been here, but we're about to come back in a way that the likes of which has never been seen. And I'm very excited to share it all with you. And I can't wait just to have a laugh with it too. I think it's going to be a good time. And, you know, and at the quote, BTO, you ain't seen nothing yet, baby. So. I mean, I like to think I'm a fairly decent boss. I mean, I've been the boss a lot of times throughout my working career. I have a very, very diverse resume. If you actually all saw the resume of all the different things I've done over the years, I mean, it's also part of side effect of being a performance artist, I guess, too, uh, and a man with varied interests. But I'd like to think I'm a decent boss. One second here. I'm just trying. I think I missed some messages here. 1 second here, everybody. Super absorbing again. Yes, but also too, Stony Baker MD, I would only do the foliar feed initially with that and start introducing your Epsom salts actually into your watering. Foliar feed will only do so much. It's never going to directly address an issue. It will slow that setting in, but you also need to kind of really introduce some of those Epsom salts into your medium or root ball, and then you'll be good to go. Well, I mean, and that's again, I would do a teaspoon for foliar feed personally to 2 to 4 liters of water, which is roughly half a gallon to a gallon. But I personally wouldn't do a foliar feed with Epsom salts too often. I'm a bigger fan of introducing it through water. Or on a day where you do some heavy watering, do a heavy watering, and then just sprinkle some Epsom salt along the top of your whatever your chosen medium is, and that'll give you a little bit of a slower release on that as well. So there's a few different ways to go about it. I mean, for me personally, I'm not the biggest fan of an Epsom salt introduction from a foliar design, but I kind of go the other way on it. But that's just me personally. And again, remember everyone at home, there's 1,001 highways to the same destination. Yeah. So, and remember, Stony Baker MD, like if I was watering with Epsom salts, I'm going to do typically, like, because like my little green watering jug I'll often use on that. Um, you know, I'm going to be typically using 1 to 2 tablespoons of Epsom salt to 2 gallons of water. And that's going to be giving me lots of all my magnesium sulfate requirements there. And if you want to get really fancy and make your own little version of CalMag, I mean, just, you know, pasteurize, bake some eggshells. Powder those bastards, make a tea. There you go. You got your quick release. And then take the rest and powder it and then dump it on afterwards. And then you got a bit of a slow release there for you, too. Oh, you all make me laugh. I like it. Much love. Oh, good times. A little Epsom salts and a little bit of eggshells are two of the main components to Potsquatch's magic pick-me-up juice. That's for your plants, not typically you. I mean, you could maybe drink it, but I wouldn't recommend it. Give it to your plants. They'll prefer it. So you have some water-soluble calcium. All right. So my only thing with that one Stony Baker MD is just look on what the source is on it. You know, but I just like doing my eggshells because I eat a lot of eggs. I like eggs, fried egg sandwiches, and all that shit. Mm-hmm. Hit those hot knives for me too, Gazer 76. I don't have. Well, I mean, I guess I could technically put a pot down on it and then heat it that way, but I don't have a stove that's conducive to that. The new lab does though, because the stove that comes with my new kitchen. Well, I get two kitchens. The new house has two kitchens. So the main part of the house has 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, full giant kitchen upstairs, and then the room that'll become Mrs. Potsquatch's new kind of recording studio and all that. It's even got a jacuzzi tub in it. But downstairs, which is where they're gonna lock me away, I got proper coils again, so I could do hot knives too, guys. Hell yeah, Stony Baker MD. I mean, yes, but I mean, I'm not gonna. My main point to that though is all I would say, Stone Gamer is depending on what bone meal or what bones went into it. It won't necessarily be a huge source of magnesium. It is a better introduction to do something like an Epsom salt, or you can also get a lot of magnesium and potassium out of banana peels. I like to let them brown. I find it just works better. They really give off into your tea if you let them brown a bit. And then we cook it down, you know what I'm saying? Beep, beep, beep. Oh, okay. So here I call it a micro show, and we're at least doing the hour and a half basically that we normally do. Well, yeah, I typically do that though. I'm like, I feel like shit. I'm just gonna do a micro show, and then we still end up talking for an hour and a half. I've done that before. We did a 3-hour show before too. That was funny. It's like, everyone, I feel like shit. The show's not gonna last very long. I like start the show doing it that way, and then it's like, oh, we've been going for over 3 hours now. Oh, I agree. No, yeah, hell yeah, Stone Gamer. I mean, especially if you get on it and you get it going, you know what I mean? Like, um, Gazzers, you should see some of Gazzers' compost tea big bins that he does over there, man. And it is beautiful. Like I'm sure it smells like shite, but I mean it's beautiful though. Well, I guess maybe, eh? I mean, I'm trying to remember what I think our record for the longest show we've ever done. Fuck, what would it be? I think about 4 hours and 15 minutes or so, give or take. But I was talking to one of my buddies, one of my new buddies up at Hope today, and the great thing is I think there's a few spots he knows of them that I might be able to go do some fun guerrilla outdoor grows just to shoot it for fun. Yes, but Gazzers 76. I didn't talk about her record. I talked about my record. And it took me 3 years to do it. And then, well, on her first try, she blew me out of the fucking water. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, Mrs. Potsquatch did a 12-hour ukathon. She played ukulele for 12 fucking hours. I mean, yes, she did take breaks to pee and eat. And occasionally I would show up then to fill in the gaps. But the woman went for 12 hours playing her ukulele and did not play a song twice. And it was astonishing. And I think it was, what did we end up raising? I think we may have, if I remember the number correctly, we raised a little over $1,000 for the Innocence Lost Foundation for the building of their new rehabilitation center over in Sierra Leone. So you can actually check that out. It is still on Facebook somewhere. Maybe I'll find it and share it. It might even be in the Potsquatch Growers community on Facebook there too, because it was done through Facebook. The stream got knocked off because we found out on Facebook you can only do a stream for about 4 hours and then they kick you off. So there's 3 or 4 different pieces that made up the 12 hours. But yeah, like machine, right? And I remember when she told me like that's what she wanted to do. She's like, well, it's COVID and stuff. So Originally, it was going to be a 24-hour event. They were going to do it live at a place. She was going to incorporate other musicians into it. And that's how it was going to originally work, the You Can Do It fundraiser. She'd been trying to do it for a couple of years, but never really got it fully set up. And so at the end of the day, um, she decided to do herself. So I remember the night she turned to me and she goes, "I'm going to do the You Can Do It fundraiser, and I'm going to do it for 12 hours now, and it's going to be just me." What's up, Red Clouds? Welcome back, yo. And well, holy crap, Stony Baker MD, that must have been interesting. I've dropped shrooms once or twice, but not a half ounce, so the show still got weird, you know. But so she did for 12 hours, though. I was so impressed. I was so proud of her. And like I said, she didn't blow her voice out. She kept going for 12 hours. I mean, let's be fair. In about 8 hours, she started kind of being more conscious to sort of certain songs and certain things. And then for the last 40 minutes to an hour or so of that show, that's when she was like, fuck it, I'm on the last hour now. Whatever's left in the tank in terms of my voice's ability to actually sing, I'm going to keep on cranking. And she went to town, everybody. I mean, Miss Potsquatch just killed it. I was so proud of her, though. And like I said, she did not repeat a fucking song. Like, it was insane. I was like, you machine, yo. And she did it, though. And I was really proud of her. She raised over $1,000, which really in modern day times of COVID, like normally for Innocence Lost Foundation, most of their fundraisers, how they do it, they do events, they do this, they do that, they'll do kegger parties, they'll do all these different types of things. But this year has been really hard for their foundation because it's almost impossible to do anything like that now. So Dottie was like, well, screw it. I'm going to do my stuff. And that's true. And she even did a few songs that weren't on her list and weren't even really songs that she really knew. And she still tried to do them. She's a very impressive woman. And just don't ask me to try to do that. I could talk maybe for that long if I had to, but I'd probably shoot myself at the end of it. But it was great to see. And I know it was very much appreciated by the Innocence Lost Foundation because, like I said, it's hard to fundraise as a nonprofit charity right now with everything that's going on. For those of you who'd like to check out the Innocence Lost Foundation, just Google them. You can find them. And they're always open and taking donations towards their facility. I believe, well, here, I got my other phone here. So let's take a quick look here. And I'll see if I can Google it for you. I mean, I agree, Stony Baker MD. I agree myself. Innocence Lost Foundation. Okay, I'm going to go to their website now. All right. Here, first, I'm going to send the link in the chat for everybody to check out the website. So bear with me here. So this is a link to the Innocence Lost Foundation's website. Pilgor, I've worked at a lot of pubs over the years, so I still go to some of the pubs I used to work at. The Church of the Blues and I are no longer friends. There's a very long story as to that. I actually walked out. It was the one time I ever walked out anywhere, and I told them to go fuck themselves. They begged me to come back on the Tuesday, and I still stuck to my guns and told them to fuck off. I've never walked off a job before. That was the first time for me, that's like, I'm a hard worker. I don't do that. I normally run bars and companies. You have to push me to a real point to walk off site. So I don't go to the Church of the Blues anymore. And as far as I'm concerned, it can burn down. So, but that's just my humble 2 cents. But so the Innocence Lost Foundation, that's their website right there. And now I'm going to pull up the website again here. I wonder if they've got a live update on the fundraiser itself. Trying to find it. Okay, so if you scroll down, so it's the Kabbalah Community Center, and that is in Sierra Leone in West Africa. You can see some of the sort of the pictures of what's all going to be built there and all of that. Okay, so phase 1 Phase 2. Okay, so phase 1 is what they're working on right now. What's up, Isaac Kendrick, yo? So land purchase, 3.5 acres is 25,000 for the facility. To develop the land, water well, the water systems, that's another 26,000. Those funds have been raised. The funds to purchase the land has been purchased. Solar panels and electrical for phase 1 buildings is 15,000 Canadian. Those funds have been raised. Building 1, which will contain a medical clinic and offices, $48,000. Those funds have been raised. Building 2, which will contain a kitchen, multi-purpose rooms, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That cost of that building 2 will be $86,000. The total cost for phase 1 is a total Canadian of $200,000. The grand total, by the time it's done being built, there's 4 phases to this facility that will be built, is $862,000. But their goal that they're working towards right now is finishing and completing phase 1. I believe what's left for phase 1 in terms of that. Bloody hell. See, this is where I can be like, I can't find how much you've raised currently. They've also got a store on their website where you can buy locally made art for the people of the community. I found the number. So everyone, so far $161,445 have been raised out of the $200,000 requirement to build and complete phase 1. So that puts us at a remainder of $38,555. So I mean, they're getting bloody close. They've been it's taken them years. Let's be honest. It's taken them years to get this monies for phase 1 together. But it's a beautiful, beautiful mission, and it's such a thing that it's not just going to even help the kids of the community. It's really gonna help a lot of the people in. Isaac Kendrick, we're just talking about the super long Innocence Lost Foundation 12-hour Yucathon Mrs. Potsquatch did. She raised over $1,000 for our friend's nonprofit. Our friend Fascinet is actually a child soldier who survived and came to Canada. And we're just talking about sort of Mrs. Potsquatch, how she blew my personal record, which is a little bit, my record, I think, is about 4 hours and 15 minutes in a live stream. And then on her first attempt, did a 12-hour Yucathon to raise money for a really good cause. So that's actually what we're talking about. So, but the new facility will also have vocational programs. It'll do education. There'll be teachers. There'll be access to medicine, fresh water, food, et cetera, et cetera. And the projects to come in terms of future phases for the facility, they're going to be doing a bunch of farming stuff and growing their own food. And they're doing a lot of really good stuff there. And it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing that's not just going to help the kids. It'll help everyone in the community. So pretty special thing, the work they're doing there. And again, like I said, fucking mad respect to my wife for fucking playing for 12 hours somehow. Jesus Christ. Yeah, it was insane. Well, thank you very much, Romans. Everybody, I gotta go too. I've even gone longer than my normal bare minimum of an hour and a half. So I hope you enjoyed the 1 hour and almost 40-minute micro show. Oh man. But and again, everybody, mark the date on your calendar. May 3rd. May 3rd will be the day we take possession of the new house. And from May 3rd on, all the good stuff will be coming and all the exciting things, okay? So keep it real. Yeah, see, we used to do 3-hour shows, and maybe we'll even do some of those coming again, Isaac Kendrick. You never know. We'll see what happens, and if I have that kind of gas in me one day in the future again. We've been dealing with so many things and trying to get so many things going for everything, both between the house and purchasing of everything, and then trying to get the new products out and doing all these 1,001 things. I do my best to keep the batteries up, but the new house, I will have a new vigor and be ready to rock and roll. Much love and cheers to all of you. Thank you for tuning in and sharing this time with me tonight, everybody. And remember, the true grower is the forever student. The true grower He's not afraid to take risks. The true grower makes educated, stupid decisions. All right? All right. Remember, we can learn more from our mistakes than we do from our successes. Don't beat yourself up. Love yourselves. Love each other. A little bit of compassion and a smile, especially in the modern day times, can go a long fucking way, okay? Anyway, everybody, Uncle Potsquatch loves you. Keep it real. Keep it sexy. I'll see you on motherfucking Wednesday. Peace out. Word to your mother. Actually, I'm not quite done yet. One last thing I'll say, too. For those of you, what's up, we're just ending the show, but thank you for tuning in. For those of you who catch this show after the show, I'm sorry you missed it. It was unscheduled. It is later than it usually is, so don't freak out. There's much more to come for many, many, many years, my friend. All right, everybody. Keep it real, keep it sexy, and keep it Potsquatch. All right, rock and roll. See you soon. Okay, bye. All right, and by the way, when I say that, it's not like keep it me. It's like keep it you, because we all Potsquatches, you know what I mean? All right. Peace and love.